It's Tuesday, September 8th, 2020. So, more volatility on Wall Street today. I was watching the markets earlier this morning, and this continued volatility is just a reminder of how fast things can change and how broken the stock market really is, how dependent Wall Street is on the Federal Reserve for more injections. And without injections, we're going to see more massive volatility. Watching these markets this morning, it's eerie. It's very, very scary how quick things can come down. Think about the trillions of dollars of stimulus that have gone into these markets, have gone into the repo markets, 0% interest rates, bailouts, quantitative easing, the Fed buying stocks. Think about all this money that has gone into Wall Street, and yet look at the volatility that still exists. Very, very concerning, and every one of you better be prepared because they are not going to be able to hold on to this much longer. NASDAQ officially enters a correction down 10% from its highs, and Dow Jones down 632 points. The Fed is going to have to print a lot more money here, ladies and gentlemen, to keep these markets alive. And I believe that many people and investors are underestimating how much inflation all of this debt creation and money printing by the Fed is going to create. We are going to see massive inflation coming to America. So what does that mean? It means that your dollar is going to buy a lot less. You're going to have a lot less purchasing power. And it means that gold and silver are going to get much, much higher. And it also means that the US dollar is going to lose value. Gold is going to beat every fiat currency in the world. I truly believe that 100%. The Fed, in my opinion, right now is playing a game it cannot win. And in the process of playing this game, they are going to destroy the US dollar, making gold the ultimate money. The Federal Reserve, ladies and gentlemen, is nothing more than a house of cards. Trillions of dollars are giving investors and governments out there a very false sense of security because yields are low and valuations are high. This is nothing more than a mirage. It's an illusion driven by central bank purchases that cannot disguise how quickly companies are entering into long-term solvency issues. Soaring bankruptcies and the rise of zombie companies means less employment, lower growth in our future. And so this is where we're at right now. And they're trying to paper over it, and it is not working. They can only do this for so long. The inevitable is getting closer every day. I'm not saying that these markets aren't going to bounce back tomorrow or next week. Very possible. With the amount of money that they're injecting into the markets, they better. But at some point, the injections and the money, the medicine's not going to work, and it is wearing off. And that's what we're seeing right now with this volatility. They're having to inject even more money, buy more stocks. It's not working. The effects of the medicine is wearing off. All the liquidity only covers up the risk. It does not resolve solvency issues driven by collapsing cash flows while costs remain elevated. The economy has been shut down for months, and I truly believe by doing that, they put the nail in the coffin. So while the government borrows more money, spends more money, while the Fed prints more money, what does this mean? Well, it means we're going to see a lot more debt, weaker growth, and lower wages guaranteed. That is coming. It is happening right now, and it is not going to be stopped. All this will continue to push gold higher. It will push silver higher. People still continue to ask me where I purchase my metals from. I have a link down below, SD Bullion. They've been phenomenal. I don't own a gold mine. I don't own SD Bullion. I don't care where you buy it from. I don't care if you buy it or you don't. That's up to you. That's a decision you have to make. But I buy from SD Bullion. Link down below. Fantastic company. I can't say a negative word about them. But look, you can buy it from a jewelry store, pawn shop. You can buy from a coin shop. You can go online, buy from whoever you feel comfortable buying from. I do believe, and this is not financial advice, but I do believe you need to be holding real money like gold and silver. What we saw today is a reminder. What we saw Friday, reminder. What we saw last Thursday is a reminder of why you better be holding real money. And I think cash is great, but remember, cash is devaluing. If you're sitting on a pile of cash right now, next year that same pile of cash is going to buy you a lot less goods and services. So, we have to be really conscious about when we're putting money away, is cash really that safe? Is cash trash, like Ray Dalio says? It is probably not a great investment because it is devaluing literally every day, and it's going to come under a lot more pressure here in the very near future. So as we see the rich getting richer and the poor getting more poor, you've got to be protecting yourself. You've got to be thinking like a central bank. You've got to be thinking like an elite. You've got to be holding assets. You've got to have real money like gold and silver. So today also, oil dropped around 7.5%. And we were talking about Labor Day weekend and how fewer people were traveling. Airlines were flat, resorts flat, and you might be in an area where your resorts were busy. I can tell you out here, it wasn't that busy. I drove by the Palm Springs airport. It was a ghost town. So oil prices down. I think we're around somewhere in the $37 range today. But right here on CNBC, summer air travel down 76%. 76%. So, I saw the president today, and I'm not judging him or criticizing him at all. But, talking about America producing more energy than anybody, and all this oil that we're producing from fracking and all that. What are we going to do with all this energy if nobody's buying it? If people aren't driving in their cars to go to work, if people aren't getting on airplanes for work or to travel for a vacation, what are we going to do with all this energy? As you know, the energy sector, we're seeing many layoffs, many bankruptcies in the energy sector. New York City commercial real estate sales plunged 54%, lowest on record. Another bellwether here. How about this one? Over half of young adults are living with their parents, highest level in modern American history. So many of these kids went out, got an $80,000 degree, and they can't even work in the service sector now or leisure or hospitality because so much of it is still closed. I think if your Starbucks is open, some are, some aren't, but most of it is just drive-through only. So now we have these kids who are going to have a very, very hard time finding a job with massive amounts of debt, $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 in college tuition debt. What are they going to do? I mean, this is just unbelievable. And the next question is, weren't these the people, these young people, these millennials, these people coming out of college, weren't they the ones that were going to really boost the housing industry? They were the new home buyers. So who's going to be buying all these homes when many of these people in forbearance are going to be selling? Many of the landlords are going to be selling property. And you don't have buyers. You have people out of work. You have people not making enough income. And now you have young people living at home, having a hard time finding a job with massive college tuition debt. Old Man Winter to plunge restaurants into further chaos. This is on Zero Hedge today. We talked about this last week as winter. I think Colorado is already expecting snow. Some of the other states over in that area. Then you've got the Midwest, East Coast, where weather's going to be changing. They're going to start getting rain. It's going to start getting cold, then snow. What are these restaurants who are able to use outdoor dining going to do now as the weather changes? And according to this article, it's going to be very, very bad for a lot of these restaurants. Expect many of them to go out of business. No recovery in sight. Also on the Hedge today, container volume at the Port of Los Angeles flatline. So what does that mean? It means that we're consuming less, we're buying less, we're shipping less, not as much going out and not as much coming in. So that this is truly a bellwether right here that when the ports are flat, when the containers are obsolete, they're not there, people aren't buying things. They're just not. They're cutting back. Inventories at stores have been cut way down. And what are we shipping as a country? What's leaving those ports? What's exiting those ports? And I'm going to leave you with this. CNBC today. China says August exports beat expectations, jumping 9.5% from a year ago. Here's the biggest threat to America right here. Right here. And will they pay a price for what they did? Looks like right now they're benefiting from what they did to the world. But that's my opinion of that. But it looks like business is booming in China. I know that they've had floods and food shortages, but they're making everything. And, you know, I don't know if America is so important to China as it once was, because China's selling to the entire world, and Asia is growing. Asia is getting huge, and China is going to sell to all of Asia, selling to Europe, South America, Central America, Canada. It's selling to everybody. So as America sits here, nobody's going to school. We're closing colleges while nobody is leaving their homes, while everything is shut down, while we are just killing off business, while we're propping up our fake stock market, we're propping up our fake dollar backed by nothing. China has its problems, no doubt, but China is manufacturing and making things. China is growing. Everything about China is growing. They have, I believe, the 4 biggest banks in the world. They have the biggest military in the world, biggest navy in the world, probably biggest gold reserve in the world, and obviously the biggest factories in the world. They are creating and making everything. So America better wake up real quick here, because as we sit here hiding in fear in our homes, not making anything, people not even going to work, kids not even going to school and getting an education now, it just seems like we're just decaying here in America as a lot of the world is moving on, especially China. They're moving forward. And this is giving China an advantage now. They are the first one back, and they are moving full steam ahead now. And this gives a huge advantage to China. I don't think we're going to be able to catch up. We're not certainly going to be able to catch up to China if everything is shut down here. Nobody's going to work. So we're all dependent on a stimulus check and an unemployment check from the government now, while China is exporting all over the world, jumping 9.5% from a year ago, moving on. Really troublesome, real troublesome. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. If these markets bounce back, we'll see what happens. A lot of uncertainty out there, and you need to be prepared for that. You need to be preparing for the unknown, preparing for uncertainty, because as I've said earlier, things are only going to get more volatile the closer we get to November. We're going to see a lot more uncertainty and volatility, and that is going to transition over socially, politically, of course, economically, and spiritually. So be preparing across the board. We have never seen times like this, and I believe that we're going to see some things we never thought possible. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. It is coming. I think that most of the people watching this video today are aware of that and are preparing for that. Just get in the mindset that we are going to see some very crazy things happening in our country, and that we're going to see a lot of chaos. So I'm going to leave it there today. Just be walking close to God, saying your prayers, and make sure you thank God for everything you have, because there's a lot of people out there hurting, and there's going to be a lot more people out there hurting. So continue to prepare. Talk to you very, very soon.